Hello, did you know that my book, The T in LGBT, is now available to pre-order in paperback, and I'm very proud of that fact. So if you would like to pre-order yourself a copy, I would very much appreciate that. It helps a lot. It really does help a lot. Pre-orders mean a lot. And it comes out on the 1st of August, so I'll leave links down in the description box and a pinned comment if you want to check it out, but no pressure. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie. Welcome back to another video. If that's on my channel, I don't know, but welcome either way. I'm very glad to have you here. And today, I am jumping on a train very late. This is a video that I've had saved to do a reaction to for like literally years, and for some reason I completely forgot about it for ages, and I just came across it again recently, and I'm like, it's a little bit old, but maybe still a relevant talking point, so I thought we could watch it together today. This should be an interesting one. I have seen like the very first little bit of it, but I've not watched the whole thing. I have resisted watching this whole video for years so I could do a blind react. That's dedication. Yes, I did forget about it for quite a long time, but still, it counts.
It was the end of the day, and I was waiting for my bus with one of my friends when she began asking me random questions. All of a sudden, though, she asked, "Hey, have you heard of the LGBT plus community?"
Did that happen? Why am I feeling already like this is a fake scenario? I was just waiting for the bus with my friend, and she asked me this really random question. Oh my god.
Yes, I had. Is this the last question? No, but almost. Do you support gay and lesbians? Like the people who are in the LGBT community?
Oh, there's like a pause and I'm being held in suspense. Does that sound like a natural conversation to you? Because it doesn't to me. But also, if that were something that came up, there potentially would be a reason to ask it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with just being like, hey, especially if you're LGBT plus yourself, just to confirm, make sure you're comfortable.
Do I give her my honest opinion? Or should I lie? Maybe I should just tell her what I think will make her happy. But what if it's not the right answer she wants to hear? I mean, she's my friend. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Oh my god.
After a quick pause, I gave her my reply. No. She tried
Do you support the LGBT plus community? No.
to hide it, but I saw the shock on her face. She smiled awkwardly and said, "Oh, okay." I had no idea what that meant.
It means that your friend is surprised that you're a bigot. I don't know how old these people are meant to be. I think it's probably very telling of maybe home influence when people are kids on their opinions and things. I'm intrigued by the expression of like surprise that caused an uncomfortable reaction from the friend.
No, I don't support LGBT plus people.
Oh, and then like, why did she react like that? Why was she not giving me a hug for not supporting gay people?
I thought of it as nothing more than an awkward and random conversation. We said bye to one another as she walked her way home, and I hopped on my bus.
Okay.
Before I went to bed, my mind kept replaying my friend's question, and why she acted so awkwardly to my answer. Why did she look like she was hiding something? Or, what if she doesn't want to be my friend anymore? Am I a bad person for not supporting the LGBT plus community?
It's so victimizing. It's just got this vibe of, I don't know. I kept replaying it in my mind, and I don't know why she's upset, and now I'm feeling really awkward. Did I say the wrong thing? Oh my god. Why was she upset? Maybe she's a lesbian, Janet. And the whole like evil thing. I don't think it's evil. I think particularly if people have been brought up in an environment where LGBT plus stuff is really talked about negatively in their household, and that's all they've ever known, the initial reaction can be like, well, no, I don't support it, because like your family doesn't support it, and you've never learned about or been shown a different attitude or knowingly known somebody or be friends with someone who's LGBT plus. I get that perspective and like why it could be confusing of like, okay, but I've been brought up being told that my opinion is okay, and now I've just said this. But it does feel very, I'm not getting the vibe that this is going in the direction of like, oh, why might this be wrong? Should I like think about my opinions and like challenge that viewpoint? Is it hurtful? Has it caused harm that I've said this? Have I offended somebody because it's not appropriate or open-minded attitude to hold anymore? But it just feels more like a, oh, woe me. I could not stop thinking about it. Oh dear.
The biggest thing I couldn't get off my mind was her awkward smile hiding her true emotions from me.
probably terrified because she might be gay herself or LGBT in some way, and she's just found out her friend would not support her. And I think often those questions can be the first step to someone coming out to somebody, to be like, what's your opinion on this? Just trying to gauge their response. And the concept of standing there with someone who's like a close friend or your best friend or whatever, and them saying that they don't support the LGBT plus community, and they like, you know, in turn, likelihood is they wouldn't support you. If that was your first step to coming out, that's like, I want to see the cartoon from the other kid's perspective, because she's probably at home going like, oh my god, I was going to come out to her and now she won't support me and now I'm going to lose my friend.
I thought about it the entire night until I fell asleep, hoping it was just a harmless question and she'd forget about it tomorrow.
Unlikely.
I walked through the hallway saying hello to my classmates and friends, and every time I did, they brushed me off or give me a dirty look. I even had a few people ignore me and whisper something to someone else right in front of me and then walk away. Did I do something wrong?
I feel like this person has taken the story of somebody coming out as LGBT plus and just made it their story as a homophobe. I'm trying to not be like absolutely like shut down, brutal, mean, because I've personally seen people have like gut reactions when something is brought to their attention for the first time, and it's something that they've been grown up either just not learning about or being taught negative things about, and it can take a while to do that unlearning and recognize what it means to be like a respectful human and the fact that there's nothing wrong with being LGBT plus, because I think not supporting it and not accepting it is believing that it's okay to think that the way that some people are born and their identities are wrong, and that is homophobic. Homophobia is a prejudice or dislike or discrimination or discomfort towards people who are gay. It doesn't need to be this outright like, I hate gay people. It can just be a, I don't support, I don't accept, I don't think it's okay. That constitutes. I struggle with this scenario.
Why are people giving me these mean looks? Finally, I saw my friend who asked me the question the other day and nervously said, "Hi." She automatically replied, "Get away from me." I backed up in shock. We were fine the other day. At least, I thought we were fine. What? What did I do? At this point, everyone had their eyes on us, waiting to see what would happen. How dare you not support gays or lesbians?
How dare you not support gays? Yeah, this really happened, sure, Jan. It's so like,
I'm a homophobe.
But I'm the victim.
What? Why did you tell everyone? I thought you were my friend. How can I be friends with someone who doesn't support what I or all of us do? You're a monster and unaccepting of other people's preferences. You just don't fit in with the rest of us anymore.
I think, okay, I have multiple different thoughts. One is I get the anger and the discomfort and the wanting to distance. That would be my initial reaction. Two, if this person is genuinely this confused as to why it would be hurtful to give the answer they did over whether they would support LGBT plus people, then I think it would be fair to help them understand and then see where they go from there, because they are definitely playing this whole role of like, I just don't know. So if they genuinely really don't know, I mean, okay, then maybe explaining it would help. But at the same time, I'm watching this and it's making me go, oh my god, you are just so close to understanding how ostracized gay kids feel within many school environments and how outing works and how they are treated. But it's not comparable, because I think some people would want to vehemently defend this kid and be like,
But it's the same thing.
there's just something about her that's different to her friends and they're not accepting her for it. And it's like, no, because like being LGBT plus, you can't control it, you don't choose it, and there is nothing wrong with it, and it does not hurt anybody else. Being homophobic is a learnt behavior. We are not born bigoted. It does hurt other people. So you could literally swap this kid out who doesn't accept LGBT plus people for a kid who is gay. The flow of this would be very, very similar, but obviously the conversations around LGBT plus acceptance would be swapped. And I'm like, you're so close. But being like a homophobe that people are angry at is not the same as being a gay kid who is bullied and rejected for their sexual orientation. They are not comparable things. But at the same time, I do think that I'm very much a benefit of the doubt type person. Let's have a discussion and see where this can go and see if you could grow and be a more accepting person. And if you can't, then you're just not someone I can have in my life. But I mean, these are potentially like kids at the end of the day. Like they're pissed. Like maybe she's about to come out to her and they, ooh.
At this point, everyone gave me a dirty look and agreed with her. It was like I had committed some kind of sin.
Is this Is this irony? Is this trying to teach homophobes what it feels like to be rejected as a kid who comes out as LGBT plus in school?
And didn't deserve to be around everyone else. In an instant, I was the worst person in the entire school. The only thing I could do was run into the bathroom. I cried so hard.
Okay. I feel like I should feel sympathetic and I'm feeling bad for not feeling some kind of way. But then at the same time, I'm not. I don't know if I should. And then I feel like I'm just getting suckered in with what the intention of this video is to be, which is to victimize somebody who has homophobic viewpoints and is trying to play the fool and be like, oh, pity me in this situation. And I'm just falling for it or nearly falling for it. I think it's because I still have this nugget of where I would always want to try and have an open conversation with someone who wasn't stood there spewing like disgusting hate. They're just like a kid who's like,
No, I don't support LGBT plus people.
and then not understanding why that is a problem and why that is hurtful. I would want to give them the opportunity to understand why it hurts. However, I do get the anger because there is such a high level of like self-protection mode when you're LGBT plus. When I am in a scenario or in a group of people or with one person who has like a higher probability of holding homophobic views, maybe because of like political views and stuff like that, I will have a guard up, and that guard is safety, because I'm not going to put myself in a position where somebody can be mean to me because of my identity. And sometimes we just don't have the patience or the energy or the emotional resources to sit there and explain why we deserve to be accepted and why we don't deserve people being purposefully unsupportive and disrespectful and unaccepting and bigoted just because of our sexual orientation and gender identity.
So much and so loud. Someone in the other stall heard me and told me to shut up.
Without even knowing who you are, without knowing why you're crying, or that you're the kid who's been outed as a homophobe, they're telling you to shut up and they're being mean too.
I felt so ashamed of myself for not supporting or accepting the LGBT plus community. I hated myself for not lying and saying I did support them. I wanted to go home so badly, but there was no way I could. The rest of the day was...
But like, there's a breakthrough coming, right? Why am I feeling ashamed for not supporting the LGBT plus community? Why do I feel like I should have lied? Was it to save face in front of other people? Or is it a realization of the hurt that it causes and the fact that there is actually no valid reason to not accept LGBT plus people?
could. The rest of the day was just as bad, if not worse. People mocked me and called me homophobe, which wasn't true at all. I tried to tell them that it was my personal preference to not support it, but it didn't mean I hated people who are gay or lesbian.
I don't support you, but I love you. No, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. I'm not on board with this whole like, I don't support you, but what do you think is wrong with being LGBT plus to the point where you cannot deal with it? And it's this belief that like,
I'm only homophobic if I hate gay people.
no.
I had never felt so alone, so I decided I had to tell my parents what was happening to me at school. But would they yell at me for having these opinions? Or worse still, they might hate me.
Oh, is this the big reveal? Did she learn it from the parents?
I entered my kitchen to see both of my parents sitting there. Even though I tried to find the words to tell them I needed to talk, all I could find were tears.
This is still reading like a lost little gay kid on the journey to coming out and being outed at school and not knowing how to tell their parents. Has somebody made this out of satire?
Both of them quickly stood up and came to the door where I was standing to comfort me. My mom asked me what was wrong, and I began to explain. I told them the question my friend asked the day before, and then my answer. That I just didn't agree with the LGBT plus community. To my delight,
To my delight.
To my delight.
Oh my god. Delightfully, my parents are also homophobes, which explains why I'm a homophobe, because they taught me to be one.
my mom and dad, they reassured me that it was okay to have different opinions to other people about things.
There is a big difference between having a different opinion and then having an opinion that really hurts people over something that they can't control and that there is nothing wrong with. It's not like saying, oh, I really don't like cheese, but I know you like cheese. That's the kind of thing that we can have a difference of opinion on. Or like cats versus dogs, you know, and we maybe, and still be friends, and it's fine to have a difference of opinion. This goes down to like fundamental human rights, which sounds very big based on like this video and like I'm extrapolating, but a kid with these views where their parents are like,
It's okay to have a difference of opinion. It's okay for you to not like gay people.
that then creates an adult in society who will not believe that LGBT plus people deserve equal rights. Either you don't agree with it, you don't support it, you don't accept it, you think there's something wrong with it, you are being discriminatory.
like sexuality, religion, and politics, just as long as you are not rude or disrespectful towards them. Unfortunately,
There's a big difference though, because like sexuality, you don't choose it, you're not taught it, but the other things mentioned, you are like political beliefs, those are something you develop, those are things that can change with further understanding of the world. Those are things that we often pick up from our parents initially. We don't get birthed like waving a political flag like
Woohoo!
but we are born our sexual orientation and gender identity. So it's very difficult to compare those things and be like, we can disagree on politics. Although I'm funny about that one, because I'm like, if you are hardcore right wing and like you would vote Tories in, who fundamentally don't think me as a trans person deserves rights, and also just have generally atrocious political views on many other economic and social issues, then why would I want to be your friend? Because like, I'm viewing you as somebody who just doesn't see my rights or the rights of a lot of other people as important.
the kids at my school didn't see it that way. My old friends would either turn their backs on me to ignore me, or worse, mutter mean words under their breaths as they passed me in the hallways. Their words would cut through me to my core. I would come home every day, head straight for my room, and cry. My parents would ask, "Darling, what's wrong?"
Darling, what's wrong?
But I couldn't bring myself to tell them how bad things had become. Over the next few months, my school life was miserable. No one was interested in hearing my opinion or reasons. All they cared about was their own. Things had become so bad at school that my grades started to slip. I just couldn't concentrate, and no one wanted to work with me or help me in class. Eventually, the school's head had noticed something wasn't right.
Still reading like a gay kid has come out and just been ostracized by the entire school but accepted by their parents. I feel like as soon as the parents are like, no dear, you are allowed to be homophobic, it's perfectly normal and okay, go you, how wonderful of you to have differing opinions in life. Not to us though, because we're also raging bigots. I think it would then be difficult to have a conversation with a kid and like educate them beyond what their parents have now reinforced as being okay. I do feel like it could have helped, but it's not always the responsibility, especially of like kids, and especially of like maybe newly discovered about themselves LGBT plus kids, to take on that burden of educating their peers, because it's a draining thing to do and it's tricky.
And called my parents in for a meeting. I was nervous, scared even, that my parents would be mad at me for me letting this affect my grades. But after seeing how bad things had become and how unhappy I was, they both agreed that the best thing for me would be to move schools and have a fresh start. A year has passed
The school just didn't want a homophobe.
since I moved schools, and I've made great new friends, all with different views and opinions. I still have the same views, but I've realized that there are better ways to express them. I look back on that day my friend asked me my opinion.
There are better ways to express them. What better ways? I'm so confused. I'd like to see an example of a better way to express them. I just love this that, oh my god, I went to school with a bunch of woke people and they rejected and bullied me because I was homophobic. And now I go to this school where everybody just accepts that we're all a little bit bigoted.
And maybe if I hadn't been so short in my answer and turned it into a discussion about our different opinions, things could have been different. The way my new friends accept different opinions by discussing them rather than turning them into a witch hunt and isolating the person with a different opinion.
Rather than turning them into a witch hunt and isolating the person.
As much as I can sit here and say, like, maybe one of the kids at the old school could have explained why it was hurtful, maybe she could have gone and looked into, hey, I just said I don't support LGBT plus people. My friends are mad. Why? And then read about it and read more about the community that she is judging so harshly by not understanding why that was so hurtful without needing somebody to spell it out to her. Surely that means she knows very, very little of LGBT plus people in the community and the experiences they have. So how can you have such a strong opinion and like die on the hill of that opinion when you know so little?
But now we hold hands and skip with our disagreements.
Has made me feel so at home. I have learned that people will always have different opinions in life, but that is fine. Just because a friend doesn't agree with you doesn't mean you can't be friends.
Again, with certain things, when it comes to things like this, I'm not going to be friends with someone who is homophobic. No matter how like soft and gentle those homophobic views are, I'm just not comfortable with that.
You should be open with each other and discuss your differences.
Because there is no reason to be homophobic, that's why. You don't have to be like going to pride marches or like donating to LGBT plus charities or anything, but just accepting that it is a perfectly normal and okay way to be in life, and there's nothing wrong with being LGBT plus, and it's all gravy, baby. That's it. But to not support, to not agree with, to think there is something wrong with, that is a lot more than just a
Difference of opinion.
The world doesn't need to be any more divided than it already is. And if it turns out
This is such a trope of phobes. It is such a trope of like, why are we fighting each other? Let's just accept that we have differences. And it's like, when we are still having to fight for rights, why would you want to sit there and be friends with and have respectful communication with and lovely times with somebody who you know is sat there judging you for something about you can't control?
you still don't get along with someone after hearing their opinion, you can still be respectful.
Misogynistic men, homophobic people, transphobic people existing in this world and like pushing their beliefs and having their beliefs accepted and uplifted really slows down our progression in equal rights and just people being accepted and lessening discrimination towards certain groups within society. That's why it's more than just, oh, we just have a difference of opinion.
Saying mean things to them is bullying. And even though they might look fine on the outside, inside, they could be really hurting.
And that's it. Story anonymous. That just felt like a pity party for a homophobe of a scenario that probably did not happen. It reads so much like the story of if a kid came out as gay and then was outed and ostracized because of their sexual orientation. It's not just a differing of opinion when we still have a long way to go in terms of equality and rights and respectful treatment within society, and there's still being so much discrimination towards the LGBT plus community. I hope you enjoyed this very belated video. I still think it's a relevant talking point. Yeah, if you have any comments, go leave them down below. My conclusion is I don't understand why people would not support and be open to people being LGBT plus. And there just seems to be this big emphasis on like, let people have their opinions, stop trying to change people's minds. I'm not trying to change her mind. I would explain why what she said was hurtful. If she still wanted to believe it, fine. But like, I'm not going to be friends with someone who doesn't think that like a fundamental part of me is right, who thinks there's something wrong with me because of my identity that I cannot control. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, available to pre-order the paperback. You can buy the hardback as well if you want. I'll leave some links in the description box for you to go check out if you want to buy one. As always, thank you so much for watching. Think about leaving a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.